Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, we are here today to hear about the Biden administration's efforts to censor the speech of American citizens. In a seemingly unending series of examples from across the federal government, we have seen public servants use taxpayer resources to shut down certain disfavored viewpoints. This is fundamentally un-American and violates free speech. Thanks to the tremendous work done by Mrs. Richardson, we know that the National Science Foundation spent millions of taxpayer dollars on artificial intelligence research conducted at elite universities like the University of Michigan, University of Wisconsin, and MIT. Although AI has the potential to be a powerful tool, it can also be used for many nefarious purposes that infringes upon the liberty of American citizens. Unfortunately, it seems the recipients of these NSF grants were doing just that by developing AI tools to censor disfavored speech. Effectively, the American people are being forced to subsidize their own censorship. Researchers at the University of Michigan were even so brazen to market their WiseDex technology as a way for social media companies to, quote, externalize the difficult responsibility of censorship. The fact that they believe censorship is a responsibility is extremely concerning, especially when the government is the entity funding such censorship. MIT's team of researchers were even more candid when they stated in a project proposal that certain segments of the population, including military veterans and military families, are particularly susceptible to, quote, misinformation campaigns. Thus, they argue that it is necessary to have a proactive suite of human technologies to counteract this supposed misinformation because reactive content moderation is too slow and ineffective. In other words, the elites at MIT think that my fellow veterans and I are too dumb to think for ourselves. These efforts to use AI to censor the thoughts of American citizens is truly disturbing. There are a small group of elites who believe they alone can discern objective truth, and alternative viewpoints they deem misinformation must be suppressed. Now they seek to use the powerful tool that is artificial intelligence to help them censor disfavored opinions, and the American taxpayer is being forced to foot the bill. Mr. Fong, I'd like to start with you. You've recently written about NewsGuard, which is a company that works closely with the government and major corporate advertisers by scoring news websites as a sort of misinformation meter. As you reported, NewsGuard has received a $749,000 contract from the DoD. Can you describe some of the free speech concerns that you've seen regarding NewsGuard?
Well, NewsGuard is one of the many kind of firms in this cottage industry of anti-misinformation. They provide tools to rank websites on their kind of truthiness, and they have their own sliding scale. The problem here is that they've been caught over and over again getting the facts wrong. They claim that any website or news outlet that reported on the COVID lab leak as the origin of COVID-19 was spreading a conspiracy theory. They've also gone after left-leaning websites that are simply reporting on the Ukraine-Russia war in a critical way, saying that Ukraine is a client state of the US. Perhaps you disagree with this point of view, but this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a legitimate area of public debate. Now, NewsGuard in particular is another company that, as you mentioned, receives military contracts. If they're working for the military and shaping public opinion and journalism around issues of foreign policy, for me, that raises inherent conflicts of interest.
It's basically like I was in the military, it's basically like a PSYOP mission that they're doing using taxpayer dollars to PSYOP American citizens. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to put into the record Mr. Fong's article, "In the Name of Fake News, NewsGuard exhorts sites to follow the government narrative."
Without objection.
Ms. Richardson, in the little time I have left, as I noted in my comments, MIT researchers thought they needed to protect veterans and military families, among other populations, from misinformation campaigns. Should we be concerned that such biases held by the creators of these powerful technology will especially harm populations like veterans and military families?
I think that is the concern, is that the people who are creating these technologies are letting their biases influence how they play out and who they are censoring through these tools. So yes, I do think whether it's right or left, we need to understand that these tools can be used to censor Americans.
And Mr. Lukanoff, I saw you shaking your head during some of my comments. In the 38 seconds I have left, if you'd like to add to that.
Sure, I'd actually want to talk specifically about the data index, basically like the misinformation index, known as the CDI. It listed not only, as far as the riskiest online news outlets, it listed the New York Post, Real Clear Politics, the Daily Wire, the Blaze, One American News Network, the Federalist, Newsmax, the American Spectator, the American Conservative, and worst of all, in my opinion, Reason Magazine. That even though I know not everyone's a libertarian, but as some of the smartest people I know and some of the smartest reporting I've seen come out of Reason Magazine. And this is being treated as de facto misinformation.
All conservative websites. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.